Hello interwebs, welcome to No Post on Sundays. This is the series about PCs that don't post that may or may not be posted on a Sunday. I've got a custom build here but from Chillblast, which is a UK system integrator. This is a Fantex P300 unless I'm mistaken, and the window is on backwards because the inlay is on the outside. But yeah, apparently this thing doesn't start up. I think the customer said it turns on for a few moments, fans spin up, and then it just cuts out again. So let's get this thing laying down on the bench and take a look at it. So fairly tidy build in here. Chillblast are a pretty decent system integrator. I see their computers now and then, and they're nice machines. We've got good tidying in here. This motherboard is an Asus Prime Z370A, so this is going to be 8th or 9th gen Intel. Not a fan of the 120mm water cooler. 120mm water coolers suck, just don't bother is the answer. Either get a 240 or bigger, or just put an air cooler on it. These things are just not worth it. They're kind of only there for the pimp value, and the cheap ones are not reliable enough. This one's actually a Chillblast branded one. You can see you've got the CB logo there. So yeah, they're using it just for pimp value, basically. Nothing else looks screamingly out of place. There's a decent amount of dust in here, as would be expected. But, you know, nothing is falling out. No plugs have come unstuck. So let's plug it in and see what it does. What power supply do I reckon we have? It's got a Corsair power supply in it, so the power supply isn't a biscuit tin, but Corsair power supplies can fail as well. Just because it's a good brand doesn't mean that it's immune to failure. So with the symptoms we have, we're going to entertain that possibility. Alright, so power and HDMI, here we go. I didn't turn on the power supply. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. We went CPU DRAM, and then it cut out. Are we power cycling? Yeah, we're power cycling. Yeah, all right. Cool. One more try. No. Okay. Turn off. Fine. So, power cycling it is. Let's start by resetting the BIOS. So the CMOS battery is underneath the graphics card. So we're going to pop that guy out. So I'll take the graphics card out and pop the battery out. There is a CMOS reset jumper here. We can short that out. However, I'm going to do the battery because it means that I can check that the battery isn't flat at the same time. So yeah, may as well do both. It doesn't matter if you take the battery out or short the jumper, just do whichever you prefer. We can argue till the cows come home as to which is better, which matters more. Fundamentally, they both do the same thing. When you short the reset jumper, it basically just pulls that battery rail to ground anyway, so it doesn't actually matter. I'm going to speed up while I take this graphics card out because the mounts are going to be a pain. Someone is going to point out that because I've just taken the graphics card out, I've disturbed it, and that means I've changed more than one thing at a time. But pretty uncommon for it to be a badly seated graphics card in this instance. If we had a big old card that was sagging and stuff like that, maybe. Okay, so multimeter into voltage mode. I'll stick the black probe on a screw and the red probe on the top of the battery. Uh, 2.94 volts. That's flat. So, when you have a flat CMOS battery on a desktop computer, it's probably not going to stop it from posting, but it might mean that it's not keeping time, and so the BIOS keeps resetting and stuff like that. So I'm not expecting that to be the problem, but there's a non-zero chance that it's related. So we're going to keep that in mind. The question is, am I going to put a new battery in now, or am I going to put the same battery in just after resetting the BIOS? No, I'm going to put a new battery in, because if it works after doing the BIOS reset, then we can basically just turn around and say it was a BIOS issue probably caused by a flat BIOS battery. Cool, let's stick that fresh one in. Bam. And I'll lob the graphics card in and we'll fire it back up again. This needs dusting out, but we'll do that. We'll do that as and when we get to it. Okay. Power on at the back. What do you got? Okay, 1 cycle. Doesn't mean anything. There we go. And post. It sounds like it's going to go. I'm just waiting for a signal. Oh, I lie. We're stuck on the DRAM LED. Okay, well, we got further than before. Okay, let's turn it off and on again. Just see if it didn't RAM train properly. I'm probably going to reseat the memory, though. Oh, I didn't plug in the graphics card. I think it should get through post without the graphics card being connected, so I don't think that's our problem. But we'll plug that in just for fair testing. Like, we were stuck on the DRAM light. If that was the issue, we would have moved up to the VGA light. Yeah, no, it's not that. We weren't getting as far as the graphics card. Okay, then. Power off. And I'm just going to pop those RAM modules out. Asus motherboards only latch at one end, so we just need to unlock the top. So this is DDR4, 3000 megahertz, CL15. Not bad. Average. Let's just slap it straight back in and see what happens. I'm not convinced it RAM trained properly after I did the BIOS reset. We had 1 power cycle, which usually means it's RAM training, but didn't really look like it was trying to me. If it's actually RAM training properly, I would expect to see it cycling through the diagnostic LEDs a couple of times. Okay, here we go again. Okay, there we go. DRAM light went out. VGA. There we go. Now we're going to post. Show me that picture. Show me that picture. Alright, we've got a boot LED, but the VGA light is still on. Bloody hell, we're just one thing after another with this. None of these are serious problems per se, so far, but like, we fixed one problem and then just run straight into another. We had a stuck BIOS, so we fixed that. Then we had RAM problems, so we fixed that. Now we've got graphics card problems. Okay. I'm going to power off. I'm just going to take the graphics card out and plug into... We've got an Intel CPU here, which has almost certainly got onboard graphics. I very much doubt we've got an F-SKU in here. So I'm going to take the graphics card back out again. Oh no. There we go. That might just be dust this time. I took it out, dust goes into the slot, I jam the dust into the slot when I put the card back in. Probably just needs reseating. I just want to try and get a picture out of the onboard graphics, just so we can go, there we go, okay, this thing is, the platform works. This thing is alive. Should have unplugged the SSD so it wouldn't try to boot, but nah. There we go. All right. Don't start. Or do, because if it boots into Windows, I know we're good. All right, what does that say? My preview is tiny. Okay, no keyboard detected, and stuff needs to be set up. All right, that's fine. We've got an 8600K there. Very well. Okay, so the PC is alive. Let's... I'm going to blow the dust out of this thing. Just blow the dust off the graphics card. Just airline the computer out. Then we'll put the graphics card back in, start it again, and just see it boot off of the graphics card. And then we're probably there. So, be right back, everyone. I'm going to turn this off and just take it out back for a dust. I don't have a dusting cam yet. However, I'm going to get one set up at some point just so you guys can watch me blow dust out of the computer. I don't know. See you in a moment. Right, graphics card in, power, and keyboard and mouse because I think it's going to go this time. All right, let's go. CPU, RAM, VGA. And boot. Again, VGA light has stayed on. Getting some gurgles out of that water cooler. We should probably check the cooling on this while we're here. Just because I don't trust these things. Yeah, we're still stuck on no video output. I'm not a fan. Let's confidence test. So, I'm going to unplug this lot. And I'll grab a test graphics card just so we can establish that the PCI Express slot works and all the rest of it. Here's a 1066 gig here, all reliable. All right, what do you think of that? Yeah, there we go, straight away. All right, we're a bit worried about this card then. This is a GTX 1070, so it's getting on, but it would be a shame. It's still viable. Right, I'm going to try it one more time in this, otherwise I'll have to plug it into something else to test it. Something else that's just occurred to me as well is I should test another output from the graphics card. Because it's possible that just the HDMI port on the card doesn't work. But if I plug in, say, the DVI port or one of the DisplayPort connectors, that will work. So that would be a good test to do. Let's see if this works first. There we go, that time it worked. Okay. Graphics card having a hissy fit? Could be. Right. Okay, so let's run setup. So we will have reset to the defaults here. Yeah, clock and date in the top left is wrong. So there's not a lot we really want to change here. I'm going to turn on XMP. And we don't want RST. We don't really care about the fan settings on this PC. And that probably do, to be honest. Cool. Save and exit. So this should boot into Windows now. Then we need to set the time on it again. And then I'll probably check for a BIOS update. It's worth doing. Oh, what, you still... Okay, it looks like it didn't go into XMP. The memory has booted at 2133. Alright. Not a fan. Fine. We'll leave XMP disabled then. Let's just get back to Windows. I don't know how much an 8600K is actually going to care about memory speed, if I'm honest. Memory speed didn't really start becoming important until like Ryzen 3000 and Intel 10th generation, if my memory serves me. Yeah, there we go. We're booting Windows now. Okay. Okay, this thing has like 3 antiviruses on it. It's a bit rough to run. I'm trying to get hardware info and Cinebench open so I can check if the CPU is burning up. But I'm not getting a lot of help. We have got some warmth in the water cooler though, which is a good sign. Alright, hardware monitor, are you going to work? Hey, okay, there we go. We've got some temperatures. That's all I care about. Don't care who tells me the temperature, just someone tell me the temperature. Right, Cinebench, go. Don't care what the score is, I just want to know if the CPU cooler works. And with about a 75 watt load, we're sitting fine at like 50 degrees C, so that's a good sign. Alright, I'm pretty happy that the cooler works in that case. Obviously, you'd need to give it longer than 2 minutes to heat soak, but a 120ml water cooler won't take long to do that. However, it's doing something. If this was just full of air and didn't have any fluid gushing around in it, then the CPU temperature would just immediately spike. So that's more or less our acid test, that the thermal paste isn't cooked and the water cooler isn't running dry. So yeah, this is fine. We've done our quick test on that, and we're actually pushing up a little. We're looking for 80 watts from the CPU now, which is good. So yeah, Cinebench is not a torture test. This CPU would definitely be looking for 80-85 watts under certain loads. So yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. All right, stop that. I don't care. It works. I'm going to get a BIOS update on this, and then I'm going to try. For XMP again, because I'm not super happy about it not running XMP. This is DDR4 3000 mega transfers. It's not exotic RAM. We should be able to get XMP on this. Okay, we're on BIOS version 0614. Make a mental note of that. And let's just check for BIOS updates on the Asus website. So, yeah, we've got some modern BIOS updates here. We were on 0614. That one, I think. Yeah, kind of middle of the road. This probably had a BIOS update when the system was built, but it hasn't seen anything since then, which is not surprising. However, there's been a lot of work on this. Intel security vulnerability fixes, stability, performance, memory stuff. This is worth updating. So let's just get the latest on here. We're not going to install any beta versions. The latest one is an actual release, so that's good. Broadly speaking, 9 times out of 10, a beta BIOS will be okay, but if the latest version is a beta, I would not run that unless you have a specific reason to. I would always run the latest non-beta version, just in case. I've seen beta BIOSes do weird stuff. But in this instance, the latest version is not a beta, so that's okay. Cool. Advanced mode. Let's see. Tool. Easy Flash 3. Okay, there is our BIOS update. I want to read this file. Version 3005. Cool. Alright, off it goes. See you guys after the progress bar. Update successfully. System will be reset. Cool. Oh, it did it on its own. Right, it's doing a couple of power cycles. It's probably RAM training again. Alright, ME is updating. Okay, that's fine. It's doing other stuff. God, this thing is doing a lot of power cycles, but we'll just let it do its thing. I know that it's actually working properly because the diagnostic LED is getting to the VGA light every time, which means it's doing a full post and then it's restarting because it wants to do something else. So if it was just flashing on CPU or something, I'd be a little bit more worried, but yeah, it's fine. Let it cook. Okay, right. So we need to recover the BIOS again. And we are now on the new BIOS version. So I reckon it tried to go to XMP and failed. I'm just going to go into BIOS and then just reset and let it cycle around to Windows again. Then I'm going to try for XMP again. So we're at the defaults. Let's just save and exit. XMP, profile 1. This is the motherboard basically asking me if I want to apply the Asus optimized settings as well. That might be what's upsetting it. For now, I'm just going to say yes again. So we're doing the same test that we did last time. If this isn't stable, then we're just going to run XMP and Intel CPU settings. It might not be the XMP timings that are tripping it up here. It didn't do a bunch of power cycles there. It looks like it just went to XMP on its own this time. So if we get to Windows and we have XMP profile, then I'm going to assume that that means the BIOS update has worked and improved things and given us a more stable platform. So we can check in Task Manager now and we can see that our memory is at 3000 megahertz or mega transfers to be more precise. The reason why this isn't really 3000 megahertz is there's not actually a clock in the memory system running at 3000. The memory clock is actually at 1500 megahertz, but because we're double data rate, we get a theoretical 3000 mega transfers per second. So that's why we say mega transfer now, because megahertz isn't technically correct. It's not actually clocking at 3000. Cool. All right, we got XMP. I'm happy that this system is stable now. The graphics card was kind of doing oddball things with us, and I don't know what that was all about, but that seems to be perfectly happy. So for burn testing, I'm gonna throw Unigine Heaven at it. Go away, Riot, no one cares. I'm gonna run Heaven on this thing, just to make sure that graphics card is okay. But I won't bother showing you the gory details on this because I'm not expecting it to fail. We've seen, We've seen no, other than that one time where it seemed a bit upset, it has not failed to post since we swapped the graphics card in and out again. So that was probably just a seating issue. And I'm just running it on just some moderate settings here with a non-full screen 720p resolution. I'm not here to benchmark the card. I just need something that's going to max the card out. And even at 720p on a 1070, this will max the GPU out. If we had a higher end GPU, like a 30 series or even a 20 series, I'd probably throw superposition at this thing. But on older cards, I tend to run Heaven instead, just because it's a lighter workload. So yeah, we're looking for 200 FPS, but the important thing is that the GPU will be at 100% load at the moment. So I'm going to leave that to run for half an hour or so, just to make sure that this is okay. And then after that, we're basically done here. We're in XMP. We know that the CPU is okay. I could throw memtest at it. I will throw memtest at it just in case, because we didn't actually find a probable cause, and we seem to have a laundry list of minor issues with this thing. But past that, I think we're okay. So, yeah, if there's anything to report, then I'll let you know. So I'll see you guys after the montage when I've run a couple more tests on this, and then we can wrap up. Right, this is closed up, and I've just given the window a clean up. I use just some ordinary window and glass cleaning spray. Anything will do just to take off the smudge and finger marks and stuff like that. And then I go over it with just some multi-surface polish. Doesn't have to be Mr. Sheen specifically, just whatever you would use to clean your coffee table, because this will leave just a nice anti-static and just anti-finger mark surface on it. So it'll just resist fingerprints for at least a short amount of time. And doing this on your tempered glass side panel will just make it look pristine, brand new again. And it just really makes the computer look $1 million when you put it up again. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We're all done here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.